Hello, I am Anthony Barnett, and this is my final presentation for Principles of Sustainability 1, discussing the installation of a solar power system on my home. In this presentation, I will discuss what photovoltaics are, materials in the system, justifications for installing the system, the reduction of CO2 emissions, the requirements for installing a system, the state and federal incentives, and a cost-benefit analysis. The sun's energy can be collected and turned into electricity using thin layers of silicon that have been treated with a doping agent to give them positive and negative charges. These are called solar cells. When the sun's radiation hits the cell, it agitates the silicon in a way that causes electrons to flow into a conductor. This creates electricity. Cells are then formed into modules, which we know as a solar panel. Solar panels are then designed into arrays that meet your home's energy needs. Inverters condition the generated power for use in your home and on the grid, and the remainder of the parts of the system are referred to as the balance of system. The materials used in photovoltaic systems are silicone, glass, copper, and aluminum. The company that I'm working with is installing Solar World panels, which have provided us with this life cycle infographic, which shows that the silicone is formed into wafers, which they make the cells and then the panels, and then the systems are installed on the homes, but the great majority of the material that's used in the system can be recycled and turned back into solar panels later use. The justification of installing a system is based upon the price of electricity. In San Diego, we have 4 pricing tiers for electricity, where Tier 1 and 2 tier are your baseline tiers, which is your average usage tiers for most homes in San Diego. Tiers 3 and 4 are your penalty tiers for homes that are using higher amounts of electricity. I happen to be in the 3 and 4 range, where Tier 3, prior to this presentation, was at 29 cents per kilowatt hour, and Tier 4 being 31 cents. But as of September 1st, Tiers 3 and 4 are now at 39 and 41%. There are also incentives for purchasing a system. The federal Energy Star tax credit gives you 30% of the total cost of your system, which is effective on the first day that it goes into service and generates power. The state also provides $500 worth of credit that can be used towards the purchase of your system. If you generate more power than you're using, the utility will purchase back your power at 4 cents per kilowatt hour. There are CO2 reductions that are derived by not using so much power. For the system that I'm installing, it's 500 kilowatt hours per year. It saves about 400 cubic feet of natural gas being burned to generate that electricity, which reduces CO2 emissions by 2.91 metric tons per year. There are requirements before installing a system that you must observe. Your house must have a south-facing sloped rooftop. Your sun exposure must be clear of shade and obstructions. There are power panel requirements where the size and rating limits the size of the system that you can install, and you need to have room for an additional breaker. If you need to upgrade your panel, it is very costly and it requires a new feed cable, which is also very expensive. If you have an HOA, you'll need to provide the correct documentation and get their approval, and your contractor should be working with the city to obtain the correct building permits. My house is oriented so that the south sloping roof is nearly due south, and I have very little shade, which will give me really optimal hours of sunlight. The area is rated at 5.25 hours per day of sunlight, but the contractor has said that I will probably see greater than the average. The total cost of the system that I'm purchasing is $17,500. I've obtained $10,000 worth of financing. This gives me a remainder of $7,500. The California Solar Initiative is going to cover $500 of that. The federal tax credit of $5,250 leaves me with the remaining balance of $1,750, or a total system cost of $11,750. The system that I'm installing again is 5,000 kilowatts per year. 5,000 kilowatts divided by 365 days gives me 13.75 kilowatts per day. The average monthly electrical usage is about 700 kilowatts per month in my home. 700 kilowatts divided by 30 days gives me 23.34 kilowatt hours per day. That leaves me with a remainder of 9.64 kilowatt hours per day. 9.64 kilowatts times 30 days is 289 kilowatt hours per month, which is well below the limits for Tier 1. Tier 1, or 289 kilowatt hours at 15 cents, gives me an electrical bill of $43.38 per month. $43.38 per month for electric plus $96 for the financing leaves me with $139.38 estimated for electrical after the installation. That saves me from the $170 that my estimated bill will go up. That saves me roughly $30 per month. Other benefits include it's a clean source of energy, and I'm reducing greenhouse gas emissions by 2.92 metric tons per year. It also protects me from further rate hikes. It's a free source of electricity after I pay off my financing, and it has raised my home values. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this.